Hello and welcome to the latest video and podcast from Fantasy Football Scouts as we look ahead to Fantasy Premier League Double Gameweek 34. This time around we're focusing on the best differentials to help you climb up your mini leagues and the overall rankings. What we'll do is we'll have a look at the fixtures, we'll see who's playing twice, and we'll see who's the best options from those teams, because I think it's important we focus on the double game weeks to get some real advantage there from players playing twice. So I'm looking at effective ownership in the top 10k in the table that I'll show you in a bit, and I think that gives a better indication of what engaged managers are doing. Overall ownership around this time can be a little redundant. It can be quite accurate in some cases, but in others not so, because there's quite a few sort of dead teams who are very low in the rankings and no longer playing. And there might be some lucky ones who are no longer playing who fielded a very effective ghost ship team early on. But nevertheless, they're not engaged anymore. They're not playing, so you're not exactly playing against them. So I think what we'll do is we'll have a look at the fixtures here. And so let's have a look at Game Week 34, just to remind ourselves of the fixtures. And I've got a picture of Kevin De Bruyne there, and I wonder if he will be in our table. So you can see Man City, Brighton, Manchester United, Liverpool, West Ham and Fulham play twice. Manchester City play Fulham away, then West Ham at home. Brighton, 2 home games, Wolves and Manchester United, but they were a little lacklustre earlier this week, post semi-final in the FA Cup. So let's hope they can bounce back with that. I say that as a Brighton fan as well. Manchester United obviously play Brighton away, but also play Villa at home. Liverpool have 2 home games as well, Tottenham and Fulham. Meanwhile, West Ham, they're away to Crystal Palace, and they're also away to Manchester City. So they're quite tough fixtures there. Fulham even tougher at home to Manchester City, but then they travel to Liverpool. So there's quite bad fixtures there. Brentford, meanwhile, play Nottingham Forest, just to mention them. Leicester play Everton, Newcastle at home to Southampton. These are all home matches there. So they're all worth considering, but I think it's best to focus on the double game week players. That's what we should do around about this time. Let's have a look at this table I've constructed then. So I made that this morning. I'm recording this on Thursday, so hopefully you should be watching this at some point on Thursday afternoon. Let's have a look at the table then, see who the best options are. Okay, so what I've done with this is I've sorted it by minutes per expected goal involvement, non-penalty. So this is irrespective of what they have actually achieved, how many they've scored or assisted or how many FPL points they've got. This looks at what they should have been getting, really. So these are the ones that should be doing well. On the whole, these are the guys that also have been scoring and assisting, so they should be doing well. And as I mentioned, I've sorted this by top 10k effective ownership. So these are differentials here. I put a couple that are just over 10% owned in because I think they're worth considering as well, because they're such good assets here. So let's start here. Kevin De Bruyne, he is top. Now, he was substituted early midweek ahead of game week 34 with, I think it was described as some niggles to his leg. I'm not sure what that is. Currently, I think he should be flagged or about to be, or we'll find more out in press conference. So do have a watch or listen to team news that I'll be doing with Neil on Friday. He's had 53 points in his last 6 matches. He's got, as I said, Fulham and West Ham next. He scored 3 goals, had 5 assists, minutes per expected goal involvement, non-penalty every 101 minutes. Pretty much getting on for a goal involvement a game. He is overperforming, but then good players tend to do that. So his expected goal involvement delta, he should have been involved in 3 fewer goals according to this. But this is the good bit here. Top 10k effective ownership, 1.6% owned. So if you are in and around the top 10k, want to get there, he is a massive differential amongst that group. Also, good indication if you're lower down the ranks as well, that he's a good player. He's a good player that's been not many engaged managers will have. He might be floating around in some dead teams from earlier in the season, perhaps. Next up, we got Welbeck at Brighton. Danny Welbeck, 6.5 million. Only scored 17 points. Got Wolves and Manchester United at home. Scored 2 goals though, and his minutes per expected goal involvement, non-penalty, every 115 minutes. So getting on for nearly a goal involvement a game, just a bit over that. He is marginally underperforming with the expected goal involvement delta bit here. Basically, if it's a plus, so like De Bruyne's, he's overperforming. If it's a minus, he's underperforming. So he's marginally underperforming. His top 10k effective ownership is nothing. It doesn't quite register in the 0.0%. So it might be 0.0000 something or other. So it's a very, very, very few managers have him there. Now, he has been injured. He's been injured for a lot of his career. But if he is back in Game Week 34, if we find out in De Zerbi's press conference, I think he's a great option. 6.5 million. I think he's been great this season whenever he's played. Clearly with the striker positions as well. Undav, who is also on the books at Brighton, is not favoured, I don't think. I mean, he's De Zerbi has been playing CISO, and other teams. Another young teenager appeared last night against Nottingham Forest, but Undav was just a sub there, so I don't think he is in favour there. Meanwhile, Ferguson is still injured. Ferguson is also on this list. I'll come to him in a bit. But I don't think he's going to be back. But if he is, once again, it's worth considering. 4.6 million for Ferguson there. But Welbeck could be a useful enabler, I think, if he's back. Jota, he was also substituted, but there was a bit of, obviously, I think that's possibly how their minutes are being managed in this tough period for Liverpool. He's 8.7 million, 39 FPL points. He's got Tottenham and Fulham at home. He scored 4 goals, minutes per expected goal involvement, non-penalty, every 122 minutes. Very good, third on our list. He's had a couple of assists, marginally, I say marginally overperforming. He should have scored 2. He should have been involved in 2 fewer goals over this period. And his top 10k effective ownership, sort of engaged managers there, 9.7% there. So roughly 1 in 10 of them have him. So he is a differential of sorts. He's not, obviously as low down as 0% like Welbeck, but still a very good option. I put Pereira in here. Now, Fulham is 4.3 million. He's had 24 FPL points. That's pretty good for 4.3 million. But it's those fixtures. Got City at home and then Liverpool. They're really bad. But he has scored 2 goals, minutes per expected goal involvement, non-penalty every 147 minutes. Pretty good. He's underperforming as well, but his top 10k effective ownership is 10.9%. So he is in quite a few teams, but only sort of roughly 1 in 10. So still a differential there. But I think he's a great option. Eve, despite those fixtures, he could score against Liverpool. He could even score against City. Ederson, a few Ederson owners are pretty annoyed that they conceded against Arsenal. It's Rob Holding of all people midweek. But I noticed for example, with my own team, I don't have Salah. I want to get Salah. I've got other premiums I can remove. Maybe I want Alexander-Arnold as well. But I'm going to need an enabler to do that. And so I think if you do have a space and that the way your team's structured up, moving to Pereira 4.3, I don't think you can go wrong. He's be a great first sub for future weeks as well, and you can field him this week if you need to. Next up, we got Anthony. Manchester United, quite a few Manchester United players in this list as well. He's 7.3 million, 25 FPL points. And he's facing Aston Villa at home and then Brighton. He has scored and he has assisted. His minutes per expected goal involvement, non-penalty, every 149 minutes. He is underperforming as well. So the expected lads and lasses believe he should have scored or been involved in at least another goal. But he's 0.1% ownership, absolute bargain there for the effective ownership and also his price, I think. So I think he could be a great option if you're looking for something a little bit different. I mentioned Ferguson, he's 4.6 million. If he is back, it's unlikely, but if he is, He faces Wolves and Manchester United. He has scored. Expected goal involvement, non-penalty every 156 minutes. Pretty good there. And his top 10 effective ownership is 0.5%. And he's been marginally underperforming in his... Once again, this is all from the last 6 matches. All of these stats here, last 6 matches they have played as well. Not last 6 game weeks, last 6 matches. Next up, another Manchester United player. Not a couple, actually. He's got Sancho, 7.1 million. He scored his penalty in the penalty shootout against Brighton, which will do wonders for his mental health, I would imagine, especially after missing for his country. 22 FPL points, plays Aston Villa and Brighton, as we said about Manchester United. He has scored. He has assisted over the last 6 matches. And his minutes per expected goal involvement, non-penalty, every 162 minutes. He's been marginally underperforming. His top 10k effective ownership, he's one of these who's 0.0%. So he's very, very low indeed. You're pretty much going to get every single one of his points. So if you think he's going to score and assist across that time, you're going to get a really good rank boost out of that. That's if he plays. Martial, 6.3 million. His minutes will be managed, but he could start. He could come on for one. If we think Manchester United are going to get the better of Aston Villa and Brighton, it could be a good option. Once again, a sort of more in the enabler price as well. If you're looking to maybe move Kane on, look for a cheaper striker in order to fund a move to, say, Salah, for example. Martial, 15 points. He has scored. He has assisted. 173 minutes. That's his minutes per expected goal involvement, non-penalty. He has marginally underperforming as well. And his top 10k effective ownership, 1.6%. Not much at all. Pascal Gross, I like the look of. He is always involved. He can play either... if Veltman's not around, he'll be right back. If he sometimes plays central midfield, he can also move into attacking midfield. He is on a lot of set pieces, a lot of corners as well, and he does pop up with the occasional assist. In fact, on this column, he's had 2 assists in the last 6 matches. He's 5.4 million. I'm a McAllister owner, and I've been very concerned that he's been playing deeper each time. And if I wanted to switch him up and didn't want the very well-owned March and wanted to go for a differential, I think Pascal Gross is a good option there. Minutes per expected goal involvement every 200 or so minutes. He's underperforming, marginally underperforming, and his top 10k effective ownership is 0.0%, so another very low-owned player to consider. Gakpo is next on the list in terms of minutes per expected goal involvement, non-penalty. I think he's one of the pick of the bunch, really. He's playing for a very attacking Liverpool side at the moment. He looks to have that, obviously, that central role nailed down. He's 7.7 million. He's had 26 FPL points. He's got Tottenham at home, Fulham at home. He's scored twice, assisted once, minutes per expected goal involvement, non-penalty every 223 minutes. But he has been marginally overperforming. He should have scored or been involved in one or so fewer goals over that time. But I think he's a great option at that price. If you perhaps already have Salah and you want to sort of beef up your Liverpool attack for this double game week, I think he's a great option. Top 10k effective ownership, 3.4%. That's hardly anything. And the last player on the list is Gundogan for Manchester City, 7.3 million. 22 FPL points he scored. He's got Fulham away, as we said before about Man City. West Ham United at home. He has scored. He has assisted. His minutes per expected goal involvement, non-penalty, every 227 minutes. He has been underperforming. He should have been involved in at least another goal over those 6 matches. And his top 10k effective ownership is 0.4%, absolutely tiny. So if you want to sort of triple up on a Man City, maybe you want to go for I'm assuming Haaland's in most teams, and then you can add perhaps Grealish and De Bruyne, or Gundogan and De Bruyne, or if you can't afford De Bruyne, Gundogan and Grealish as well. I mean, I think these are quite good, and I think that sort of really attacking the Manchester City attack could really pay off, especially when they keep conceding these annoying goals. Anyway, I hope that's been of great help to you. It's good to have a look at these players and flag up. I was quite excited when I made this table. I've been making these tables for quite a while to Fantasy Football Scout using their members area stats. And obviously goals imminent, which we have a video on, and assists imminent is one I've made. And I actually genuinely didn't know who would be on this table when I was sorted it and looking at those effective ownership. So yeah, quite pleased with some of these names here. I wish I could afford many more. One or two maybe in my squad. Just finally, before we go, just a reminder: do press that like button and do subscribe. And if you're listening to the podcast, do leave a review if you can. That really helps us, and give us a 5-star rating if you can, which would be great. Also, a reminder: all our videos are available as podcasts. So if you can't watch me and watch all of us at Fantasy Football Scout doing the content on YouTube, you can just listen to us instead. Got plenty more coming up the rest of this week. More team reveals, as revealing his team. We also have Rich with his thoughts on his free hit for his FPL tips show, which is moving to Saturday just for this week. And we've got team news as well. Many more. Karen and David around at the weekend as well to pour over the stats, and many more next week as well. So hope to see you there. In the meantime, thanks for watching. Take care. Good luck in the game week. See you soon.